Alright, how's it going, guys? This is Drew, and I'm playing some Tekkit. First I'll apologize for the bar at the top of the screen. There's not an easy way for me to get rid of it and not cut some other stuff off, so sorry about that. What I wanted to show you guys was this is my house in Tekkit. It's built into the side of this weird looking mountain. These are all rubber trees, and we'll get into what this stuff is in a second. I've got a little wheat farm over there, and then there's an actual farm under all those trees with animals and stuff. I just want to make a quick video for the people that are about to start playing Tekkit so that they can get used to my house in particular, and I'll try to explain some of the machines and what's going on as I go. So I'm going to kind of jump around because I haven't really thought this through, but just bear with me. So these are iron doors, so you hit the little buttons to go in like this. So where to begin? So I've got a storage room in here. This is just a bunch of chests with a bunch of stuff. And the first thing that you're going to notice is these pipes. Tekkit, like some of you have probably seen some of the Yogscast videos and other videos involving Tekkit, but the pipes let you pipe stuff around. Obviously, you can take items and put them into a little chest like this, and it'll be piped off to somewhere. There's a few different ways to do it, and you see these little motors running in the background. I'll go in a little more in depth later, but I'm just going to go over the machines first. So down here I've got my lab, and here's some of the machines. So typically you have like ore, for instance. In this game they have copper ore. That's one of the bricks that you can use, and so ore is not, useful on its own, so what you want to do is refine it into what's in here. So this is copper ingots. So normally you would just stick that in a cobblestone furnace, right? And that would be refined into an ingot. This lets you use technology to do stuff a lot faster. So you can have an iron furnace, which I think I have one on me. Oh, hang on one second. Another guy's playing. He needed a teleport. Hopefully that worked. Yep, there he goes. Okay, so where was I? Oh, anyway, so let me see if I can find it. One of the first machines I made was an iron furnace. Gotta find my machines here real quick. Okay, so these guys, I got 9 of them right now. So this is an iron furnace. It's one of the basic machines, and it's faster than a normal cobblestone furnace. So that's one of the first tiers of technology you can use. It's faster. I think it might use less fuel, and that lets you refine ingots. But after that, you start getting into the cool stuff of Tekkit, which is creating energy. So let's go outside for a minute. So what I didn't show you that you may have noticed was that there's a giant pipe that's coming from the top of this mountain down into my lab. And it's actually not a pipe at all. This is a tin wire, and you can see it's just a big fat wire. It goes all the way down the side of the house, and up here are solar panels. So when it's not night out, these can collect light, and this actually collects a fair amount of energy. Oops, let's kill this guy. There's some visitors up here. But anyways, this actually collects a fair amount of energy. The problem being, obviously, that it only works during the daytime. So we want to be able to machine stuff at night. So before we get into the machines, let's look at the power aspect first, I guess. So let's follow this wire. So you can see it comes all the way down into here. And it actually goes, I've got a power management basement down here. So here's where that pipe ends up. Sorry. He just joined. I wasn't expecting him to be here. So anyway, this 10 wire goes into this device, which we'll talk about later. But originally it just came into here. This is called a bat box. So like I said, we want to be able to use our machines even when it's not daytime. So if you look at this bat box, this tells you, these are EU, I think it's energy units over time. So this tells you this will fill up with power, which is full right now, and it can hold 40,000 EU of power, and it outputs at 32 EU per time. I'm not sure what that means. But so anyway, that's a bat box. It hangs on to some of the power, and then you can run it via copper wires to all of your machines. And okay, so let's go over some of the machines. So that's how you get the power to them, and I'm only using solar right now. There's also like wind turbines and a whole bunch of other stuff. But let's go over some of the machines. So these three machines, you can't really tell, but they all have this logo on them, this hammer. And you can kind of think of these as grinders, but they're called macerators. And so when items come in here, like if you took a copper ore, for instance, you can put it in here, and it uses that power that we're getting to macerate it or grind it up into a powder. And you may wonder, like, what's the point of that? So I'll grab, oops, went away here. So you can see it in the pipe there. It actually goes upstairs. But so you may say, like, what's the point of grinding that into a powder if what you want is an ingot? Well, when you grind it into a powder, you get two of them out of one ore, and then each of those piles of dust turns into an ingot. So by using a macerator before you use a furnace, you're doubling the amount of, you're getting 2 ingots out of this instead of 1. So that's the point of using a macerator. So because I bring in so much, like we might go on a mining expedition and I bring in a whole ton of ore, I've actually got 3 macerators. You can kind of see the logo there. So 1, 2, 3. These are all macerators, and they get piped in from upstairs. After it's done macerating, it comes out of these pipes, and depending what it is, it might go back upstairs or it might go into these furnaces. So I told you before that you start off with an iron furnace, or cobblestone then iron. Now I wanted an electric furnace because I'm running everything off electricity. So these are electric furnaces, and they will take that powder. So let's go get it real quick. So here's our powder we just created. It's copper powder, or dust they call it. So if we take this dust, it would have been piped into here. And we put it in there. I'm going to put a couple overclockers in there. You see it creates the ingots. And it's disappearing because now these are getting piped away. And that goes back upstairs. So to introduce you to my setup a little bit, the other part that I haven't told you is, well, how do you decide what goes where? Well, he's actually, I'm not sure what he's doing right now. Hang on, let me try and figure this out. It should be working. I'm not sure why it's not. So anyway, the way this is supposed to work, there are a few bugs, so we'll get them figured out. But so this right here, if we this is kind of where the magic starts. So if we come back with a bunch of ore, right? We've got a bunch of copper ore. So we've got a bunch of copper ore, and we want that refined. Well, first we want it macerated, and then we want it smelted into iron ingots, right? So I've got the input here, so anything that goes into this chest will be sucked away and worked on downstairs. Anything that's finished, macerated and smelted, will be piped back up in here, and so you can see that's happened already for all of these things. So it was being kind of buggy, but we'll see if it works. So you can kind of see, here's the pipe, it comes out of here. That's actually a little engine, it's called a redstone engine, that sucks it out of the chest there and pipes it down. The gold speeds it up a little bit. And I don't, yeah, okay. So yeah, it pipes it downstairs. So that's the first step. Hopefully I'm not being too all over the place with this. So it comes downstairs and ends up right here. And this is what it would normally look like. You can see them, they're kind of bouncing around. It would come down here and go into one of the 3 macerators, and that's where it starts out. For some reason these are bouncing around, and that may just be an artifact. I'm not sure why those aren't just going through. Excuse me. That's freaking weird. I think those will go away after a while. I'm not sure why they're flying around. I don't even think I put them in there. Anyways, so the pipe would come down in here. It would get macerated, right? Comes out of the macerators. Here's another one of those pumping engines. It pumps it out of the macerator and into this gold pipe here. I know this all looks a little confusing. But it comes, let's follow this one. So it comes in, gets macerated, comes out of here, and it comes up to this thing. And the part that I didn't tell you is that this is a diamond pipe, and you can see that it's diamond in the center, and then it's got green, black, and yellow. And any pipes that I attach to this thing, it'll actually give me another color. So what this is filters. It'll say, like, I want this to go to yellow, I want this to go to black, I want this to go to green. So if I click on this thing, I can see here's the green side and here's the yellow side. What do I want to go where? So right now I've got black is the catch-all. So black just, if it's not sorted, actually let me take a look. Oh, black is the input, I'm sorry. So black is the input. I think yellow, I don't have a catch-all actually, I made a mistake. I'll take these out real quick. So right now the green, unless it is something that matches these ores right here, which is, you know, all the kinds of ore that you would normally get. Here's copper is one of them. So if copper matches, you know, that filter, it'll come through this pipe. If it doesn't, it's going to go out yellow, because yellow doesn't currently have a filter. So that's how that works. Now you may have noticed that there's, like, even though this pipe is here, I've got a gold one here and I've got this like lightly colored one here. This gold pipe is a speed up pipe. It's actually turned on by a lever or a redstone torch, and you can see it kind of changes color slightly when you turn it off and on. That mode is on, the darker, brighter, whatever you want to call it. So when it's on, that means when something comes through here real slowly, it'll go zoom and kick it off in that direction. These are iron pipes. They are one-way pipes. So anywhere you see this is the input. It allows it to come in from that direction. If something comes in from this direction like this, it'll hit that and bounce off. So it goes back in that direction. So you can see, due to a bug, sometimes if you just run pipes straight into machines, it'll like pop out of the pipe and it'll be sitting on top of the machine there if the machine is busy and it can't take it or something. So what I have is one-way pipes. So if something comes down in here and it goes into, tries to go into the machine and it can't, it'll just stick there and bounce back and forth. So that's one of the good things about iron pipes. The other thing is, if you've got a situation like this, where we've got something like iron might get macerated, it turns into dust, it comes in this direction, and then we have like a junction. So, like let's look at this junction. So it comes out here. Does it know whether to go this direction or this direction? So the iron tells it that. It says, okay, this is an input, this is an input, and both of them should go out this direction. So we can be confident that whenever something comes out of here, it's going to go up there. It's not allowed to go in this direction. So that's kind of the explanation of the pipes real quick. There are two different types of normal pipe, and that is stone and cobblestone. You can see they're slightly different colors, and the reason for that is they don't connect to each other. Normally if I'm laying pipes, so let me grab some. We got stone, we got cobblestone, right? So if I lay stone pipes like this, and I tried to run a parallel pipe to it, so let's say we had this pipe and we wanted to run it alongside it, kind of like we are with these, look what happens. So this allows us to differentiate between the pipes. If we need something going one direction and something going the other direction, we just use stone, and then they don't intersect. And this is cobblestone. So that's a quick explanation of all the pipes that I'm using. So now you can kind of look around here and see a different thing going on. So you can see, you know, here's the entrance pipe, even though they're all different colors and stuff. Here's the exit pipe. So my setup right now just comes down in from here. Things get macerated. If it's an ore, like that diamond makes the decision. If it's an ore, it comes out here and gets smelted and then pushes back up to that bottom crate. So when the whole process is finished, the smelted stuff comes out here. You can see that's the end of the stone pipe. So that's the basics. I added a couple things on top of this. So sometimes we have a situation where we just want to macerate, right? Or we just want to send something to the furnace. One of those instances is food. So if I have uncooked food, for instance, so let's go grab a chicken. I'll show you the farm while I'm out here. Sorry for the loud weather. It's not really a good way to turn it down. Okay. Okay. I'll get a couple just for good measure. Come here. Alright, so now we've got some food. I actually need to eat because I'm slow. Okay. Alright, so let's take this food that we just got. Okay, so we got some raw pork chops and some raw chicken. So right now we would want this to be baked, right? We don't want this to be macerated, because let's see what happens if we macerate it. So if we put it on our normal location here, it'll get piped away. Even though it's a chicken, it will still go through the pipe. Let's see if we can catch it. It might have already... oh, there it goes. Okay, so it went in this macerator over here, right, and you don't hear anything happening. Maybe. Where the heck did it go? Now it's flying around in here. What the heck? That's weird. Yeah, there's some buggy shit going on. These have power. What's the deal? Oh, I see the problem. Okay, so here's a wrench. See this tool that I have here? This is a pipe wrench. Now, for whatever reason, I had to redo some of these pipes a little while ago. See how this iron pipe is set up to prevent the bug that I was talking about? Look at this one. So what this is saying is if something tries to come into this machine, this is the input, so reject it. So it bounces back out this way. So it should have gone into one of these other machines, but I think for whatever reason it bounced away out and it's just bouncing back and forth now. So what I'm going to do is this. And see, now our input is in the right place and we shouldn't have a problem. And this one is actually screwed up too. Look at this. I think I thought an iron pipe was a stone pipe, and so I screwed some of this stuff up. Alright, so now our inputs are correct. Let's make sure that one's correct also. Alright, so let's see what happens this time. That's actually what Long Sao, whatever his name was asking about. So I'm actually going to break these and get all these out of here. Oops. Let's see if any of these actually made it in here. I don't think they did. Sorry for the delay, guys. We'll fix this here and then we'll be back on track. Okay, so that looks good. Whoa. What the heck happened there? See, our inputs are the wrong way around again. So let's whack it. So let's try this again. Hopefully we won't get all bugged out now. I think this is on. Okay, it is. That might have been causing problems too, so I'm actually going to remove that real quick. Some of this stuff was new, so bear with me. Okay. Alright, so let's try this again with our food. So, we'll put this pork chop in there. And it should go downstairs now. Okay, so there it goes. Slowed down a little bit. Now it went into this macerator, right? I'm really not sure what's going on now. God dang it. Let's try something else. Maybe food is buggy also. See, these are modifications, so not everything works perfectly. Like, I'm pretty sure you can't macerate wood, so let's see what happens if wood gets in there. Okay, I don't know why that's happening. What's supposed to happen is this. So it would end up in there, and it kind of jams up the machine, right? So, because it's like jammed up, it can't do anything else. It'll just sit there and block everything else. So, yeah, see, that one worked. I don't know what the heck. Maybe this one's bugged or something. That's weird. So anyway, that's what's supposed to happen. So if you stuck food in the normal maceration process, it would get stuck like that. It would, not only would it not cook the food, it would jam up your whole macerator so nothing else works. So you have to come down here and get it and then come back upstairs. So sometimes we don't want to macerate. In that case, we want to go to this. So this is just to the furnace. So we take our food, we put it in there. You can see it's getting sucked out. And we'll go downstairs for this one. So this one sucks down through a different pipe. And you can see it goes only to the furnaces. And now we get our finished chicken, and it gets piped right back up the same pipe that it would be if it were an ingot. So we could put a diamond pipe like here and section it back off and take it upstairs. But since this is a one-off, you know, since normally you're not going to put stuff in just the furnace, I just let it end up, you know, in this section here. So now we have cooked chicken. So that's a nice quick way to get some things done without having to go downstairs and throw it in machines and things like that. Now some of the stuff that that we deal with isn't ore. There's another machine down here called an extractor, and so you might have noticed that I made like some of these wires. So these copper wires, and if you go down into the bat basement down here, so you see all these wires run into various things that are running on electric. You can see that they're insulated and they're covered in rubber. So one of the things that's naturally occurring that you need to go get is rubber. So you get rubber from rubber trees. So that's all these rubber trees that I showed you earlier. So let's actually go cut a rubber tree down. This is actually sort of a rubber tree. We'll go ahead and cut this one down. So you can see they look kind of weird. The way you can find a rubber tree, I've cut these ones all up, but they look like a normal tree except they have two leaves on the top, so it's sticking up like that. I don't have a good example at the moment. Maybe one of those. So you can see how they're kind of they're, you know, poking up there. You can kind of tell they're different than like a normal tree like that. So that's how you can find rubber trees out in the wild. So at any rate, if we cut one of these up, there's a couple things that we get out of them. There's sticky resin, which you can see that I've marked on the side, those little yellow dots. So this is sticky resin, and you can actually use a tool called a tree tap, which I have on me. This is an electric tree tap, but you can make a wooden one. So I can extract that, and it pulls out resin. So we use resin to make rubber. We can also use the trees themselves to make rubber. So I'm going to throw these feathers over here, so I have a slot, and I'll start picking up this resin. I'm ignoring Lao for the moment so I can talk to you guys. So now we've got, oops, server's kind of laggy. So now we've got, I marked this as for, the extractor is for resin and rubber wood. So if we look in our inventory, here's our rubber wood, here's our resin, and resin, if you extract it, actually turns into double the resin, I think. Either that or it just turns it into rubber. The rubber wood, on the other hand, gets extracted into resin, I think. Either resin or it might get turned straight into rubber, I'm not sure. So let's try them both and see what happens. I can't remember. I know they're slightly different. So we'll put the wood in first and let's see what happens when we extract rubber wood. Now remember that because it's not in our diamond filter, it's not one of these ores, so it's not going to go out the green side, it'll go out the yellow side. So that means it'll come back upstairs instead of going into our other thing. Here's one of our chickens still flying around, what the heck. Still some bugs. So here's our 2 wood coming down. I actually got to get some gold pipe and speed that one up. This is how fast they normally flow with just a redstone engine pushing them out the other end. So this is the extractor machine. We haven't looked at this yet. You can see it's a little bit different. Okay, and if we look in here, we see that that gets extracted to 1 rubber. So now the rubber is being piped. It's going to hop back up in here into this one. And it might shoot around a little bit, but eventually it'll get up to the diamond and gets piped out the yellow side. So we didn't really see it there, but it happened. It's kind of so fast it just flies around and then it ends up here. See? So the extractor turns trees straight into rubber, so that's nice and handy. Normally if you have sticky resin, you would put it into a furnace. So if we take this resin, put it into a furnace, turns it into rubber. Okay, so same thing. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when we put the resin into the extractor. So we'll do the same thing. There it goes. It's nice because we can throw them all in one location. And they'll just be piped down. Yawn. So yeah, I need a gold pipe on that one. Get this chicken out of here. Okay, so that was a bug. There wasn't actually a chicken there, it just looked like there was. Oops. Why was that? Okay, so that was just cobblestone. Okay. Alright, so you saw it went in there, and I think it turned, yeah, we only had 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those, or no, we had 3, sorry. We had 3 sticky resin, and it turned it into double the amount that we got from sticking in the furnace. So the extractor is always better, whether it's resin or rubber wood. And if you take the time to get the resin, it'll give you double what each piece of wood would give you. So that's how you use that part. This part again was just to the furnace, and so we could take dust, for instance. I don't really have any at the moment, but we could take copper dust, for instance. We can throw dust in there, and it'll suck that down to the furnace. And just sends it through the furnace. No maceration. There's our ingot. Sends it back upstairs and stores it, right? So that's what you would use all 3 of these situations for. We've got furnace, extraction. This is finished for if you just did just did extraction. And then we've got maceration and furnacing, which is for ore in this one. So that's kind of how the setup works. Some other things about my house, I've got all my tools in here. Ignore this. This I had to op in. This is just an example of some of the crazy stuff you can get. This is quantum suits, quantum armor, and once you build up and get all kinds of stuff, you can build nuclear power into here and get all kinds of crazy energy and stuff. Jetpack, so you can fly around. I'm only briefly touching on a small portion of the industrial craft or build craft portion of this. But there's also like forestry, magic, all kinds of different things that let you do stuff in different ways. For example, with industrial craft that I'm using, you can fly around using an electric jetpack. You can use your bat box downstairs to charge up your jetpack and then fly around. Whereas if you were excuse me, if you're magic, you could make a ring. It takes a bunch of diamonds and stuff like that, but you could make a ring that allows you to fly without a jetpack. So depending on how you do stuff, or which approach you want to take, there's a million different things you can do in Tekkit. So it's actually a really neat mod. That's a quick view of where my house is at right now. I'm sure it'll get a lot more advanced, and some of you are probably saying you're totally doing that wrong. But yeah, that's what I got right now, and if you guys want to join me, you are more than welcome. Everybody's kind of doing their own thing on this server. We've got houses that are way far away from each other. There's actually, you can look at a map too, so you can't really tell. This arrow is my house. This whole section that's kind of flat and the same color that I'm at right now is my house. Over here in this greener area, though, or that's actually, yeah. So over here in this southern greener area that I'm walking toward, so there's a lot of empty space over here, and you guys could set up a house over here or on the other side of the mountain or wherever you like. So yeah. Here's our portal that he was asking about earlier. So yeah, that's just a quick overview of some of the stuff you can do in Tekkit, an introduction to our world that we're doing right here, and an introduction to my house, I guess. One of the reasons that I built my house here is one of the things that you can do next is, you can see I've got an oil swell off the shore here, and I can actually pipe that oil back, turn it into gas, and use that to run engines and do other stuff. So Tekkit is really, really neat. I encourage you to play it, whether it's with me or otherwise, and that's my house. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. See ya.